The Season 5 Reloaded update just dropped, which means there was many buffs and nerfs, so I got y'all with the new top 5 best setups that you should be using right now. With the first gun being an honorable mention of the Cbass B. This thing was a very dominant weapon in the early stages of the game, and then they nerfed it to where it wasn't that good, but in this recent update they did buff it, making it more of a consistent 3-shot kill. Just make sure you hit at least one headshot in there. So this gun doesn't have that much range and has a lot of recoil, so the Bruin Heavy is actually going to eliminate all that and make the weapon so much easier to use, but the mobility isn't going to be that good. So if that is annoying, try out the Wolverine Respirate Long Barrel. This one feels better on these smaller maps. And then overall, since the mobility still isn't that good, I have the Jack Slash on there. This is just going to increase that sprint to fire speed, the sprint speed and the tactical sprint speed, as well as giving us a little bit of vertical recoil. This is actually feels so good on the weapon. If you are annoyed with the slow sprint to fire speed, feel free to run the paracord grip. For me though, I just prefer the Jack Slash. Then for the muzzle, we are going to be using the overpowered Quartermaster Suppressor. Keeps you off the radar and adds so much recoil control. And then the iron sights honestly aren't that bad, but I do a lot better with the MK3 reflector on there. And then since the gun only has about 20 bullets, I recommend rocking the 30 round mag. And then if you do want to run the iron sights, you can make the weapon statistically better. Try out the Ravage 20 heavy. This is going to lower the mobility and handling a little bit, but there's going to be no recoil, allowing you to prop up and win every single gunfight. For the next gun, this is going to be the STG-44. This is still the most broken gun in the entire game. It's still 3 shots across the map with having absolutely no recoil. I thought it was going to get a nerf, but it's still the same. And so if you're trying to pop off, make sure you rock the STG. So this gun already has so much damage range to where you actually don't need the you don't need to increase the damage range. So we're going to be using the factory short, which is not going to really hurt the gun at all, but it's going to make the weapon feel so much lighter, allowing you to win those close range gunfights. If you are playing Warzone or you're just a fan of having so much damage range, run the C70 long barrel. For the muzzle, again, we are going to be adding the Quartermaster Suppressor. You're going to see this as a trend across most of the builds. This is just overpowered. It really shouldn't be this broken because it keeps you off the radar and eliminates all the recoil off the gun. For the stock, we got the DR79 combo stock on here. Sometimes I will take this off to go over here and add the Jack Slash to make the weapon feel lighter, or I will use the paracord grip if I want to, increase the sprint to fire speed. But this one's still going to be the best one because we get so much recoil control. 21% recoil gun kick is crazy without really losing any, thing to the gun. And then for the optic, I got the Jack Glasses optic on there. For the smaller maps, I will run the MK3 reflector. For the magazine, since we only got about 30 rounds and you're not going to be dying with the gun, just rock the 40 round mag. It allows you to go on the streaks a little bit easier, but you could take off the 40 round mag, add the Jack Slash or the paracord. Same goes for the optic. Overall though, this is the best STG-44 in the entire game. By the way, are you hard stuck in rank play and want a boost? Then I would check out my long-term sponsor Guapsi. They will play in your account to legitimately boost up your rank, and they can also unlock anything you wish on the game. You can scour the internet and you won't find a single negative review. I'll have their link in the description. Before we get into the next weapon, I just want to show you guys quickly the new crossbow that was just added. It's really not that good. It's kind of like a slower sniper, more of a fun weapon that doesn't really have any attachments. I wish, they added some more options so I could actually make a video on it, but the only thing you can do is switch out the ammo. So the next gun we are going to be going over, this is going to be the Static HV. They did not nerf it, so it's still the best SMG in the game. This is the Pro Warzone build, which also is insane in multiplayer. You guys are going to be able to do very well with this thing. Again, we got the Quartermaster Suppressor on there, best muzzle in the game. For the barrel to maximize that mobility on the gun, since it doesn't have that much range, we're just going to make it so it's very good up close. This is going to allow you to do so. You're going to be able to win most of the gunfights since the sprint to fire speed is going to be faster than every other SMG in the game. And then you also are going to just be able to by base movement speed move around faster. Although if you want to increase damage range, add the long barrel. For the underbarrel, for the same reasons as just moving around the map faster, making the weapon feel lighter, we got the Jack Slash on there. If you do want more recoil control, run the paracord. I do notice some players rocking this, but for me, I really like the Jack Slash. For the optic, the iron sights are kind of mid and they kind of shake around a little bit, so I got the MK3 reflector. On Warzone, typically I will add the Jack Glasses, but if you like the iron sights, you can make the weapon statistically better by going and adding the laser light. If you don't like lasers, you could add the flashlight, which is going to make the sprint to fire speed a lot better. You can add some ammo, but there's no high grain rounds, so that's why I would prefer to add an optic instead of adding a ammo. For the stock, we got the light stock on here for the same reasons. You can move around the map way faster. This is the tactical sprint speed, and the sprint speed on this thing is crazy. You feel very light, so this is definitely the best static HV class in the game. This is the brand new spear. It really isn't that good at all. Again, it's more of just a fun weapon. I'm kind of sad they didn't add a new gun into the update, and you can't even add attachments into that. So I feel like they kind of scammed on that. They should always add attachments for every new melee or something. That would be cool innovation that they can do for the game. So next gun though is going to be the SUPERI 46, still a very dominant SMG. With this class, you're going to be off the radar and you have absolutely no recoil because we got the quartermaster suppressor. This is why I don't really like it. We have it on every gun and it keeps you off the radar, reducing the flow. It's just harder to find the enemies because they're not showing up on the radar. Again, for the underbarrel, we got the jack slash. If you want more recoil control, feel free to run the paracord. And then if you still can't really control the gun with the paracord or the jack slash, try out the F-Tech MSP. For me, though, the jack slash just makes the gun feel so light and I win a lot more gunfights because I can get around the map faster. You do blow through ammo with this gun, so I got the 40 round mag, although you can make the weapon statistically better by going over here and adding the short barrel instead, or you can go and add a optic. You could even increase the damage range by adding the high grain rounds, but for me, I'd rather have an extra 10 bullets. Since the sprint to fire speed actually isn't that good on the gun, you want to keep the sprint to fire speed like 104 and below, and so right now it's 117, so that's why I got the Phantom, bringing it down to 95 around the static HV. A lot of people don't realize that the sprint to fire speed is so important. For the stock, we got the Rescue 9 stock. I really like this one because it allows you to move around the map way faster as well as getting recoil control. This is a very good attachment. It's just this class is going to have a lot of flinch, and so I really like it, but sometimes I will take off the Phantom grip and then I will add the short barrel, which will allow me to still have a very fast sprint to fire speed. It's not super competitive, but it's like almost there, and then you're going to have a little bit more flinch resistance on the gun, so this is another very good class. Now, for the next gun we are going to be going over, this is the PULEMYOT 762. I think I said that correctly. This is gonna, they just buffed it, making it a little bit stronger. Not too much, but, you know, it is a little bit noticeable to where you should be trying it out. Again, the stupid quartermaster suppressor on here. The gun is very heavy, so we got the jack slash on there. This is very good for like every heavy gun. And again, this is kind of a broken attachment, but you know, the skeletal vertical grip, you will get a little bit more recoil control, and then you actually can ADS, and your sprint to fire is faster. The gun's gonna feel a little bit heavier, so that's why I like the jack slash. You don't really need 100 rounds, so I got the 75, allowing us to have a faster mobility and handling, again making the gun just feel lighter. The iron sights really aren't that good, so that's why I have the jack glasses optic on there, which also gives you fire aim and stability. The MK3 reflector is also a pretty good one. Again, if you like the iron sights, you can make the weapon statistically better by adding a barrel, maybe the high grain rounds or something like that. And then the gun is a lot better with a conversion kit, so this is just going to increase the rate of fire. It's going to increase the recoil control and the mobility, basically making it more so feel like a aggressive AR. You just have a little bit less range, so if you want to use this thing at range, honestly I would use this build right here. Just keep in mind it is very heavy. That one is meant to be just propped up and let the enemies push you, but it's still pretty good. Now for the last gun on this list, we got the Striker. The Striker just got buffed. Well, it got buffed in Warzone, but it's still very good in multiplayer. Like, this thing is so easy to use. It's kind of like a pocket AR. So we got the quartermaster again on there, keeping you off the radar. The sprint fire speed on this gun isn't that good, so we got the paracord grip. You guys can see it's 103 milliseconds, so we just barely make it on there. The damage range is good, but this thing kind of specializes in medium range, so I was like, might as well increase the damage range even more. I don't really want to add a barrel because it's just going to hurt the sprint to fire, and I want to keep the sprint to fire in that competitive value. So the high grade rounds will lower your recoil control, but it's not going to be noticeable, and so you still can beat people at long range, especially because you're going to have so much damage on there. And I don't know why it always does this. With all that said though, this is my favorite Striker build. You could take off the optic and then go over to the barrel and then add a barrel. You will have a little bit of a slower sprint to fire, but your range is going to be very crazy for the submachine guns. You could even add the no stock if you want a little bit more mobility, but this is my favorite one, which that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys did find it helpful, leave a like, subscribe with the noties on, and deuces.